Alrighty, time for another pretty big software update. So we have recently released version 5.11. I think last time we did an update video, it was around 5.4. This one's going to be pretty massive in the grand scheme of things for NateChrony, but for the end users, probably not massive differences. There's not going to be really a need to make sure you get this update or not. So changes from 5.4. On the voice readout, we got some great feedback from customers saying when you're reading out the results, don't include the decimals because it just takes too long between shots. So now on the voice readout, they only read out the whole number, not the decimals. The lead codes on boot up. So now that we've got, especially with the steady shot and the version 2.5, a much better lead, we're using that to do a little bit more diagnosis and some information so you can see what's going on. When the device starts up, it'll flash 3 times in white, and then for the steady shot, it'll flash once to check that the motion sensing unit is okay. It'll flash twice in blue for a software update. It'll flash 3 times for connecting to an existing Wi-Fi. On the normal 2.5 and version 2s, 3 flashes, 2 for updates, and 3 for an existing Wi-Fi connection. And then once it's running, if there's an issue with the sensors, it'll be yellow. If there's a critical error, it'll be red. If it's connected to an existing Wi-Fi network, it'll be blue. So you can instantly see if you take a shot and something happens and it flashes white 3 times, more than likely a sensor error, but you can now see that it's rebooted. So you can see what that problem actually is. So really helpful, really important. The other thing in the software is going to be the CSV download pages. So we always want to make sure that our customers can get data off the devices really easy, back it up, add information, things like that. So there is now a shoot data CSV page. For the steady shot, there's some extra pages as well for all that data. You can click that link, it'll download the data in a CSV, which is just straight into a spreadsheet. And when you save that file, you can instantly open it up on your tablet, on your phone, add in some extra information, things like that. So people have reached out saying, hey, I'd like to be able to add more information about my testing session. Do the download, save it there, things in the file name, edit that file. That's going to be the best way to achieve that. And finally in 5.11 is going to be the alignment error detection. This is really going to be primarily for things like 177s with variable adapters or custom adapters. To get the accuracy, that really, really high accuracy of the NateChrony, we need to make sure that we're detecting on a certain part of a pellet. The smaller the pellet, the more challenging that is. If we're talking 22 cal, easy. If we're talking slugs, super easy. The challenging thing is really 177 Diabolo skirted pellets. They're very challenging. So what the alignment error is doing, and we've seen this less than a handful of times, is if the adapter is not installed correctly or potentially your barrel or moderator is not made concentrically, if the alignment is off, it'll measure one part of the pellet at one sensor and it'll measure a different part of the pellet at the other sensor. That difference is typically going to be around about 80 to 100 feet per second. So it'll read high by 80 to 100 feet per second. So the worst possible thing of a chronograph is to get a bad reading, of course. Worse than that is to get a bad reading that you don't know if it's a bad reading. So that's what that alignment error detection is all about. If I'm detecting at different parts of a pellet, there's an alignment problem, I don't have a lot of confidence in that result, and that'll show you that. So if you have confidence below about 75%, you get a little red error message at the top of that. And now every single shot on version 5.11 will have a little confidence percent. So every single shot, you can see how confident we are looking at that alignment detection in the result. You typically want to see things above 80%. In all the testing we've done so far, you can see it go from 20 to 25 and jump straight up to about 85 to 90%. Some of those 25% shots gave you a good result. So we've set it really sensitive so it's really obvious if there is an issue potentially with that, with the accuracy there. So they're going to be the major changes in version 5.11. we'll jump in and have a quick look at the screenshots and the layout of how it looks now as well. So this is a quick look at the version 5.11 differences of the NateChrony. As you can see at the very top, we've got this little percent here. That's that accuracy confidence score. If that drops below 75%, we'll see a little alignment error. We can see we've got 71%, and we've got a bit of data at the top there. Those numbers should be relatively the same. If they're not within a certain amount of each other, that's when it'll throw that error. So you can see that the result, we don't have a massive amount of confidence in that result, more than likely due to something like a misalignment problem. That's going to be a key feature going forward. In the graph page, we've got exactly the same. So you have your confidence score there, and then if that's below 75%, the alignment error message will pop up there in bright red. So that's how the new version 5.11 screen looks. Alrighty, so that is version 5.11. Again, reach out if you want to update to that latest version of software. It's probably only going to be really critical for 177 with variable adapters. That's only where we're seeing a very, very few small issues due to things like, as I said, the moderators. Any questions, any queries, reach out to us. Enjoy your testing.